Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Will, and if you're new here, I'm a leather artisan based in Cambridge. Today we're going to be doing something quick and easy, but a skill that's needed nonetheless. We're going to be doing two types of needle threading. The first is going to be using a twisted polyester, but it's the same technique as if you're using a twisted linen thread, and the second is going to be using tiger thread, or Ritzer 25 I believe is the correct term, but most people just call it tiger thread. So nice and quick today, so let's get started, shall we? Right guys, so the first thing we're going to do is take a length of thread. This is 0.45 millimeters. It's very thin. It may not even, there we go, perfect. We're going to feed one end through the eye of the needle, and I like to pull through enough that it's over the length of the needle. So you've got the eye there, and it's longer than the length of the needle. And then I take about a thumb's length of that, approximately, and that's where we're going to put it through the first part. So we're going to pierce through that, trying to get it in the middle. If you can see that, it's quite hard to see on camera. So it's straight through the middle of that needle. I'm then going to twist it to make sure that there's a twist between that and the second. The reason we're doing a second one is because twisted thread has a tendency to untwist if you just do one, because you put pressure on that every time you pull the needle through. So that's what we should be left with, right? So it's pierced through the first, and then it loops around and pierces the second time, putting it through the center there, and then the center there, and then you're going to push that to the bottom of the needle, so it's sitting above the eye. You're going to pull the slack through so it's just straightened. You're going to grab the tail. This is the long bit that's going to go to the other end of your needle, the other end of the thread, and you're going to pull that through, and then you're going to pull it up to the first knot, and it's going to lock it in place, and then you're going to be left with something like that. And it's really hard to see, but you've got one knot here and one there. Go to the other end and you do the same thing. This is the other end of that thread, because obviously you put two needles on one thread. Okay, for the Ritzer 25, aka tiger thread, which is a much heavier thread, as you can see, it's a much thicker thread, and it's woven, so it's not twisted. It's very strong. You'd use this for belts and things, something that you want as much rigidity, and it's completely it's polyester, so it's completely waterproof, and it comes very well threaded from factory. So I'm going to use a needle that's got a far larger eye. You can actually see through that on camera. The eye is so big. You do the same thing to begin with, where you pass the end through the eye of the needle, and you can see it's very heavily waxed, and you get roughly the same amount on the other end. So you get roughly the same amount, and then the length of your thumb. The difference here being you can get a much bigger as you can see by that, it goes all the way through the middle of the needle. I don't know if you can see that fully. And the great thing about tiger thread, I don't use it all that often because I don't do very heavy work. But the great thing about tiger thread is you don't need to put it through a second time. You don't need to pierce it twice because of how it's woven. That's never going to undo. The more you pull it, the tighter it gets. So all I'm going to do with this one is pull that knot over. It doesn't matter if you pull it through this time. And then I'm going to pull that knot up to the eye of the needle and straighten that out because I can get quite thick on this thread. And that's it for this. That's done. You don't need to do anything else to that. You don't need to hand wax it. I mean, you can if you want to, but it's not necessary. And that's what you're left with, just one single knot. So it can be far easier and far faster to use tiger thread for things because it's quicker to thread. You can always nip the end of that off because that's not necessary. I just use it so that I've got a nice big piece to pierce through. And then there you have it. It's nice and simple, done fast, quick. There we are. You now can go away and learn how to master this extremely simple technique. I thought I'd just show you because some people do struggle with it. They're not sure how to do it because a lot of videos of making things don't explicitly tell you how to do this. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.